another video. It is your girl Monique Shavon, and I am here today to kind of talk to you guys about being natural and also things that people might not tell you or that might kind of catch you off guard once you do decide to big chop. So yeah, if you're interested in this video, please continue watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends or your family or whoever. Yes, let's get into this video. Okay, so first things first, as I have said previously, and I believe my first video, I've been natural for a total of about 6 years. 2015, February 2015 was when I first big chopped, and the first time that you cut your hair, or I think maybe in any time that you cut your hair, it is such a liberating feeling. Like I don't know what it is, but like it's just, I guess you're just cutting up all the dead hair, and it's kind of like a sense of like you cutting out all the dead and negative stuff that's in your life, kind of. So it's just a liberating feeling. And that first snip, it was just like, oh my God, like I just was like, wow, like I feel so like burden free, like there's nothing on my shoulders and everything like that. It was such a liberating feeling. And so yeah, so that's one thing to look forward to when you go natural. If you have not big chopped already, even if it's like your third big chop, it's still a good feeling. I did big chop twice. So the first time I big chopped, my hair was maybe like this, and then once I big chopped again, it was much shorter. It was like maybe here. And so yeah. Being natural is definitely worth it, even though it's really, I can't say it's not cut out for everyone, because how are you going to say that it's not cut out for everyone if it's their natural hair? But I guess it's because like we're so used to like perming our hair, straightening our hair and stuff like that, so that's kind of become like our norm. And so well, I can't even say that, because like a lot of people are transitioning out of that, and we are changing our mindset now. But like a lot of people have straightened their hair, and it takes a lot of patience to work with your natural hair. I'm telling you, no lie. Like I still struggle every day. Like it's really not as easy as it may seem. It's frustrating when you have a style in mind, you try that style, and then it doesn't come out right. Comparison is the devil. Like comparison will have you like going crazy, because you see all these Instagram models and all these YouTubers and everybody else whose hair looks on fleek. Everybody's hair looks perfect. Like, oh my gosh, like girl, how'd your hair get like that? How did your hair grow so fast? And let me just put a disclaimer out there. Products do not make your hair grow longer. Weave does not make your hair grow longer. Your hair is already growing. What those things help you do is to retain that length. So it makes it seem like those things are making your hair grow, but it's not actually the products that are making your hair grow. Your hair grows anyway. It's just a matter of how fast it's breaking off as it's growing. And so having a good routine and regimen will help you to retain that length, so that you won't be breaking off hair as fast as it's growing, because your hair grows half an inch every month. So every year you'll have 6 inches of hair. And so that's why like knowing your porosity, whether you're high porosity, low porosity, normal porosity, that is very important. And I do think that I'm low porosity, but I don't think that it necessarily changes. But the first time that I did the test was like a couple of years ago, and I'm pretty sure that I'm low porosity, which means that my hair, like it takes a while for the products to absorb into my hair shaft, and for it to actually penetrate my hair, so that it'll keep it moisturized. But then once the moisture is in it, it's locked in. I'll have a whole video on that as well. So you guys can be on the lookout for that. But yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people might not tell you. You definitely have to know your porosity, because then that will determine, one, how you apply your products, and two, what products you will actually use. Because some people, oils might work better for them than butters do, like shea butter or cocoa butter and stuff like that. So those might work better for you than olive oil or coconut oil and stuff like that. With natural hair, it's definitely trial and error. So you kind of have to see what works for your hair, because now there are so many products out there, and it's like it can get very overwhelming and it can get costly. But it doesn't have to be, because I found that like my Aussie conditioner, it's about like less than $5, and it works miracles on my hair. Like, I will recommend that to anybody. Another thing that people might not tell you is fairy knots are very, very common. Fairy knots, aka single strand knots, those are like very fine knots that form at the end of your hair. Because we have curly hair textures, once your hair is wet, it will shrink up, obviously. That's where shrinkage comes in, and then the hair will wrap around itself. The hair strand will wrap around itself, and when it does that, it can form fairy knots. I personally deal with them a lot. And for instance, I got my hair straightened, I don't know, it was in the beginning of the year, I believe. And so I had got my hair straightened, and my ends were perfect. Like, they were perfectly fine. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, finally I don't have these knots, because they're very annoying. Like, trying to put your fingers through your hair and you just feel like knots on the ends. It's not cute, and I just hate it. But anyway, so I had my hair straightened, and then when I went to wash my hair out, I felt the ends get knots again. So it was like, I just got my hair trimmed, so I don't have any split ends now. So I'm not understanding why I still have these knots. So they are very, very annoying, and I struggle with them. And so I'm still trying to come up with like a regimen on how I can like reduce how many I get, because they are going to happen. It happens because our hair is curly, but you can kind of like reduce the amount that you see or feel. So I'm still kind of working on that. And so yeah, so that's another thing that people may not tell you. Fairy knots are very, very common. Also, shedding is normal. Your hair sheds about 100 strands a day. So if that is the case, and let's say you have a protective style in, right? So you have a protective style in for a month, right? So when you go to take that hair out, you see like a whole bunch of hair that's coming out, and you start panicking like, oh my God, I'm going bald, I'm going bald, I'm going bald. And that is not the case. However, you may cause more damage if you're like ripping your hair out with like a comb or something like that while you're taking it down. So you definitely have to be patient. That goes into being patient with your natural hair and having some type of patience. So while you're taking your hair down, you want to make sure that you're working in sections. You want to make sure that you're starting from the end and you're combing up, because if you start at the top or at the root and you bring the comb down, all the knots that are in between are going to be ripping out, and you're going to start taking your hair out, and that's not cute, sis or guy. That's not cute. So you definitely have to be mindful of how you detangle your hair and all of that. So your hair sheds about 100 times a day. So you have your 100 strands a day. So you have your protective style in for about a month. That's about 30 days, right? So 30 times 100 is what? 3,000. So that's 3,000 strands of hair, which may seem like a lot, but just think about all the strands that are on your head. Ooh, thank you, Jesus. Just think, God knows how many strands is on your head. He knows you from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet. Thank you, Jesus. Oh my gosh. But anyway, so you just kind of have to put that into perspective. Like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a lot, but in reality, it's really not a lot because you have a whole bunch of hair in your head, unless you don't. But that's that. So another thing that people might not tell you is that although being natural is a trial and error, you don't want to be out here buying every product. Granted, you have to kind of see what works for you, but you're not going to see what works for you if you're using brand new products or a new line of products every single week. You need to give your hair some time to react. You need to give your hair some time to figure out if it likes it or not. Some products you will see instant, like you can tell instantly if your hair absorbed it well and if it will retain moisture throughout the style that you decide to do. So you have to kind of be mindful of that type of stuff. It's because each brand has a whole bunch of lines, like a whole bunch of different lines. Like for instance, Shea Moisture has their Jamaican Black Castor Oil line. They also have the Coconut Hibiscus line, I believe, or something like that. Like they have a bunch of lines, and one line from them might work for you, but another line might not. You don't want to keep buying all these products and then you have a stash of products that you barely even use, and that's a whole bunch of money that has been wasted, you know? So now you're caught either giving away these products, trying to sell them, or just throwing them out altogether. So it's like save money, live better. I know that's Walmart's slogan, but you know, it applies. And so like I was saying before, like you don't have to buy the most expensive products either. So another thing that people might not tell you is that there are two ways to seal in the moisture. So what I mean by that is when I apply products, there are two different methods that you can use. There is the LOC method, which is the liquid or leave-in, and then the oil, and then the cream. Or you can do the LCO method, which is the liquid or the leave-in, the cream or the styling product, and then an oil to seal that all in. So if you're gonna do the LOC method, pretty much you just take your spray bottle of water, which would be the liquid, or you can put the leave-in conditioner and water in one bottle and mix it together like I do. So I have this bottle here that has water in it, and it also has some leave-in conditioner, and I believe, and sometimes I might throw some oil in here to use it as a refresher throughout the week. So you can do that. And also the O, and this is the oil, obviously. So you can use coconut oil, jojoba oil, Jamaican Black Castor Oil, almond oil. Did I say coconut already? I don't know. Olive oil. There's a whole bunch of oils that you can use, and or you could even make your own blend and just put those all together and kind of do it that way as well. So you could do that, and then you would go in with your cream. The one thing that you've definitely seen on my channel is the Design Essentials Almond and Avocado Curling Cream. So what this is like the base for your style pretty much. So that will help with twisting and braiding to kind of help define your curls more. And so that's another method of moisture, of getting some moisture in your hair. What I personally do is the LCO method, which is the liquid, the cream, and then the oil, as I said before. And so what that helps me do is, since my hair, it takes a long time for it to absorb all of the products, what I like to do is like put the leave-in on. I just recently tried this new method, which I'm gonna be trying for like about a month or maybe like a couple of weeks. I started doing my leave-in conditioner in the shower. I actually got this idea from a YouTuber named Kimberly Sherrill. I'll put her information in the description box. And what she does, what she recommended is that you put your leave-in conditioner on in the shower when your hair is already wet, because I believe she's low porosity as well. And so she recommended that you put your leave-in conditioner in the shower because your hair is already warm. And for me, for low porosity girls, when your hair, or guys, when your hair is when it's steamed and when your hair shaft is open, that's when it's more prone to absorb the products. So if your hair is warm or hot, and this is why deep conditioning with heat and steam is better, so that the products will actually penetrate your hair and they will actually be sealed in. And so putting the leave-in in the shower in the shower will help your hair kind of start retaining that moisture. So you'll do that, and then you'll pin it up or whatever the case may be, and then when you're ready for styling, your hair will be somewhat moisturized and have some moisture in it already. So then you'll use the cream. Well, what I do, I use the cream, and that will help me to define my curls more to get ready for the style. Or if I'm doing a twist out, I very rarely do braid outs, like a flat twist, a 2-strand twist, or something like that. And so that's what the cream will be for, to add that moisture right back on top of that leave-in conditioner. And then that oil will seal in the products that you put in before. So now that brings me to my next point. Oil is not a moisturizer. Now, oils are sealants. So oils will seal in whatever moisture or lack thereof that you have in your hair. So if you're using, let's say, coconut oil, right? So let's say your hair is dry. So you decide, okay, I'm gonna put some coconut oil on my hair because my hair is dry. Coconut oil is a sealant, so it will seal in the moisture that is in your hair. If your hair is dry, then there is no moisture in it. So you're sealing in dryness. You get what I'm trying to say? So you have to use the refresher that I was telling you about, the water and the leave-in. You can also get one that, I believe I have another one, maybe from Cream of Nature or something like that, that I had brought recently. I have a video on that as well. You can use that to kind of refresh your hair as well, to get that moisture in, because one thing that you want to keep in mind as well is that when you're doing your hair and you're styling your hair, you want it to be 80% water and 20% product. So water is the main thing that naturals need to keep that moisture in your hair. Water is like the best moisturizing thing that you can get. You can buy all the products in the world, but without that water, it's not gonna work the best that it can. So you just want to keep that in mind when you're applying stuff. Try to work with more water and less product. So like I was saying, oil is a sealant. So with that being said, you don't want to seal in dryness. So that's when the L and the C come in the maintaining moisture. You want to add the liquid or the leave-in, and then the cream, or the cream before that, and stuff like that. So with the LOC method, obviously you're using the oil to lock in the leave-in conditioner. You get what I'm trying to say? And so that's another thing to keep in mind. And pretty much to close this video out, I just want to say that being a natural is a task, and it definitely does require you to have patience, and it requires you to have an understanding that just because someone else's hair looks a certain way does not mean that your hair is going to come out the same. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's a whole bunch of products out there right now that I'm not recommending you to go try out every one, but there is a product out there for you. And if it's not, create one, make this line, because there's room for everybody to win. You know, like there's so many products. You see how many bread brands are in the aisles, right? It's just like, dang, how much bread is there in the world? But if it's meant for you, God will make a way for it to work for you. You know what I'm trying to say? So just stay focused, and you definitely have to keep the patience. You have to be persistent. You have to be consistent. You have to be like on top of your stuff. If you want your hair to flourish, if you want your hair to be the best that it can be, you have to stay kind of like on top of it. You know what I mean? So definitely do recommend that you try it out just once. And even if it doesn't work for you, there are a whole bunch of different avenues that you can go down. So even if you cut your hair and you don't like how it looks, or it's too short, or it's not what you thought it was gonna be, you can protective style until your hair is to a length that you might actually be able to work with. So I definitely recommend that. That pretty much sums up the video and kind of like what I had to say. I know I'm kind of rambling, but I just feel like there's a lot of things that, and I'm sure I missed a couple of points, but there are a lot of things that people get mixed up and get confused about when it comes to being natural. It's your journey. You do your journey. Don't base your journey on someone else's journey, because one, you don't know what they go through. You don't know their genetics. You just don't know. And so you do what you think is right. You do what you think will work. You do you. But I just kind of wanted to be some type of encouragement and kind of just let you guys know, like, it is a task, and sometimes it's like a job. It definitely is, but at the same time, if you want to see results with something, you have to be consistent. You have to work towards that goal. And so that's all of that it is. So I just want to say thank you guys for listening to me ramble in this video. I just want to say thank you for watching. And please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Please let me know if there are some suggestions that you may have. You can put those down in the comment section below. Also, let me know if you've big chopped already, how long it's been since you big chopped, and also some things that may have occurred to you that people didn't necessarily let you know of, or that you weren't aware of before you had went natural. So I will see you guys in the next video, and I thank you and I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.